Hello everybody, this is the Love Yourself Guru and welcome to the Love Yourself TV. Today we're going to be doing a video about loving in silence. Now this is what I believe, this is just my personal opinion. I see my outer reality, my outer world as a reflection of my inner world, okay? So everything that I see on the outside is merely is not everything. Everything is inside, and that is just a reflection of my inside. That's my own personal belief. Okay, so everything is from the inner world. And then I also believe that we live in this world, and our life here revolves around our relationships. Okay, our whole living experience it is connected to relationships. We have a relationship with our creator. We have a relationship with ourselves. We have a relationship with the people around us. We have a relationship with time. We have a relationship with nature. Could go on and on, but our whole existence is based around relationships. Now, I also believe the success of these relationships is based on our inner world. So with each relationship, are we loving in silence? Or are we not loving in silence? Whatever is going on inside, you're going to experience it with the particular relationship on the outside. So let's go, it gets less confusing. So let's say that your relationship, let's say you're married, okay, and you are going through some problems. Okay, and you really want to fix this relationship, and your partner really wants to fix this relationship, but every time you come to fix a relationship, there's just something that doesn't feel right. There's just something's not right, something's off. And what's off is the inner world. The inner world is off. So if you really want to repair a marriage, God willing, the best thing to do is to focus on loving in silence. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't express your feelings. Of course, I Love Yourself Guru, I always say, the people that you love, tell them I love you. Always tell yourself that you love yourself. No, I always say that. But what's even more important than that, goes a step, that's so important, but it goes even more important is how you're loving in silence. So let's go back to the marriage that you want to fix. Okay, you both want to fix it. Okay, you both want to fix it. Loving in silence looks like having good thoughts about that person in silence, wanting the best for that person in silence, loving that person for who he or she is in silence, praying for that person in silence. And when that happens, then two things will either occur, God willing. The relationship, God willing, will heal. Okay, God willing will heal, because you're putting that energy into that relationship, God willing. The only time it won't heal is, let's say, if the other person is not loving in silence and doesn't really want to heal the relationship, then what will happen is you have done everything that you could for that relationship. You really have done everything you could for that relationship. And the other person will either, God willing, work with you and do the same, or change for the better, God willing, change for the better, or it won't work out. But that would be the best for you. That would be to your benefit, God willing. Because you've done all the work, you've loved that person in silence. And it doesn't mean that you don't recognize the other person's faults and he or she doesn't recognize your faults. No, it's instead of all your thoughts being negative and angry about that person, it's loving that person for who he or she is, accepting that person for who he or she is, really coming together. So that's when I found, if you really want to heal any relationship, the key to it is loving that person in silence, having loving thoughts in silence, praying for that person in silence. Now, let's go, for instance, to the most important relationship in your life is the relationship with your creator. Now, what is your relationship like with your creator in silence? Is it just a public thing where, for instance, you may seem very spiritual or, praying or very, very good on the outside, but inside there's no relationship between you and your creator? What's the relationship between you and creator in silence? Because that is the most important relationship. That's the most important time in silence with your creator. Are you loving your creator in silence? Do you talk to your creator in silence? Are you best friends with your creator in silence? And that is just the greatest love of all, that between you and creator, that only you and him know in silence. And that just creates miracles. Miracles, 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 miracles. What about your relationship with time, with your days? Now, the way you love your days in silence will reflect how your days unfold. So if you wake up every morning and you think thoughts like, oh my God, it's just another day, it's just another day, then you're actually gonna see that in your day. But are you loving your day in silence? Are you having beautiful thoughts about your day? Oh, thank God, another blessing, another day that I'm alive, another beautiful day. God willing, beautiful things are going to happen. I'm so grateful for this day. Thank God for this day. You'll actually see it unfold in front of you. You'll see it unfold in front of you. So those are the relationship with yourself. Now, the relationship with yourself in silence. The relationship with yourself, I've said it, or I say it mostly, a lot of my videos, it's the foundation of the Love Yourself movement. The relationship that you have with yourself, yes, is all the other relationships you have mirror the relationship you have with yourself. Okay, so if you are hating yourself in silence, you're going to find people that reflect that. If you're not loving yourself in silence, you're going to find people and experiences that reflect that. It's just that simple. So are you loving yourself in silence? Are you thinking beautiful thoughts about yourself in silence? Are you motivating yourself in silence? Are you praying for yourself in silence? Are you being patient with yourself in silence? What are you doing in silence with all of these relationships? Very, very, very important. I'm telling you, what you see on the outside is literally the tip of the iceberg. Everything is going on here. Whatever's going on here, you're going to see it outside. Let's go back. Do you remember how I said we talked about marriages? And I said that it's really important to love in silence. And then 3 things will occur. It will either be God willing, if the other person is on the page, the other person will start loving also yourself in silence. You'll come together, or the other person will change, or the other person will just, you'll just part. The reason I said that was because in my first marriage, I really tried to do this loving in silence, and the other partner, my ex at that time, just wasn't there. The intention wasn't there. So then it ended in everybody going the other way. But because I did my best, thank God, 1 billion times, God sent me my husband now, who's an absolutely brilliant, amazing guy. And so I always love in silence. I always love him in silence. My thoughts about him are loving in silence. I pray for him in silence, and I always express also my love. But the majority of the work with me and him is in silence. And also the reason, thank God, why we're so happily married is because he loves me in silence too. Like I was telling him about this video. I said, I'm going to do this video, and he said, yeah, well, that's me. I love you in silence. So I really, really, really believe in really being aware of all your relationships, okay? All your relationships that you've got, the relationship that you have with your creator, the relationship that you have with yourself, the relationship that you have with your family and your friends and the people you love, with your children, with your days. Okay, look at all these relationships and really ask yourself a question. Am I loving them in silence, or am I just throwing I love yous out there, but inside it's a totally different, it's a different story? If inside is a different story to the words that you're saying, you're going to see that in your reality. The minute you start loving in silence is the minute you'll start to see that love everywhere. And I love you. I love you all. I love you in silence. Yes. And I'm expressing my love to you, all of you, everybody watching this video. I love you, and everybody in the world. I love you all. Have a brilliant, beautiful, absolutely amazing day. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you contemplate on loving in silence, so God willing you could see it in your reality. And kindly brain freeze. Click on the subscribe button and click on the like button if you like the video, and I will see you in the next video.